everybody, Sarah here. Thank you so much for tuning into this video. If you are new here, thank you so much for tuning into this video. I normally post faith-based teaching videos every single Wednesday, and my goal is simply to encourage you and push you closer in your walk with Christ. So please consider subscribing. So this week we are ending the year with a Q&A video. This is the last video for 2018. Yay, I'm so excited. And I really pray that the videos that have been posted on this channel this year have really been a blessing to you guys, that it has edified you guys and it has encouraged you and pushed you closer in your walk with the Lord. So I'm going to end the year with a Q&A video answering the questions that some of you guys have sent in, and I pray that this is fun, that you guys enjoy, and that it still encourages you and pushes you closer in your walk with the Lord. So let's get right into it. So the first question says that I'll be 27 in a few weeks on the 20th. Happy birthday, girl. Shout out to you. And as I get older, the holidays are not the best for me, especially I would say the three major holidays: Valentine's Day, Christmas, and New Year's. My question is, what are some suggestions that we could do to be more focused on God and not on the fact that we don't have this one person at the moment? This is something that I'm struggling with. Well, since this is such a great question, if you or if anybody has been following my channel for a while, then you know that singleness is something that I have struggled with greatly, hence the ministry, honestly, and which is also one of the reasons why the shirts that I've released earlier this year means so much to me. And during this time of year, during the holiday times, you know, there are so many engagements and weddings and pregnancy announcements, and it's almost like that it's this constant reminder that you're single and that you're alone. And for me, when I was really struggling with my singleness, it didn't have to be the holiday times for me to struggle and be discontent and lonely in my singleness. It could have been April and somebody got married and I would have been all in my feelings. But I want to encourage you guys to know that just because you're alone does not mean you have to be lonely. You don't have to be sad and depressed and discontent and lonely because it's just the holiday times or because you're single or whatever the case may be. Because I truly believe that you stay content in the Lord during the holiday times the same way you do the rest of the year. But I will definitely encourage you and anybody else that may be struggling with this to remember that your singleness is a gift and treat it as such. It's not a punishment. It's not prison. It is not a holding place. It's not some type of waiting room for marriage. This is a season for you to enjoy, and even if it lasts for a lifetime, it is still a gift, and God's sovereignty is to be trusted. That's another thing. Trust God's sovereignty and seek contentment and satisfaction in Him and Him alone. Because I'm telling you from experience, seeking satisfaction and contentment anywhere other than Him will fail you. If you think that your work is going to satisfy you, marriage or sex or anything or anyone else is going to fulfill you, I'm telling you it's not. I will also tell you to grace yourself. Contentment is a process. It is not going to happen overnight. Of course, we all wish that we could just snap our fingers and we'll just magically be completely content in our singleness in whatever season that we find ourselves in, but it doesn't work like that. We have to continually pursue God and to seek His face and to trust that He truly does know what's best for us, and that His ways are not our ways, and that His thoughts are really higher than ours. So we really just have to trust God with our whole hearts. And I'll say this too, get out and enjoy your life. Do not plan your life around getting married. Don't wait to travel until you get married. Don't wait to buy a house until you get married. Don't wait to, do this or do that until you get married. Get out and enjoy your life with your family and your friends and just have fun, enjoy yourself. Singleness is not a time for you to just sit and sulk. But you are to, again, treat it as a gift. Enjoy the freedom that you have. Not that marriage is a ball and chain, but if you just on the spur of the moment decide to go on a vacation last minute, you have the freedom to do that. You can't just do that when you're married. It's a whole discussion that you have to have with your spouse. When you're single, you can just go. So enjoy it now. So the 4 tips and encouragement that I would have to you and anybody else that may be struggling during the holiday time and honestly any other time of the year is to, number 1, remember that your singleness is a gift. Secondly, seek your satisfaction and contentment in the Lord. Third, trust God's sovereignty. And lastly, get out and enjoy your life. So prayerfully, those tips and encouragement help you. Next question, how do you feel about small churches versus big churches and speaking in tongues? So in reference to small churches versus big churches, you ultimately have to just be led by the Spirit of God. Though you may prefer a big church, God might lead you to a small church. or just because all your friends go to one church, that doesn't mean that that's where God wants you to be. So we can't just be moved by our personal preferences or what other people are doing, but we ultimately have to be led by what God has for us and what He wants us to do. Because I shared on, I think it was my plans versus God's plans video, how I had this whole checklist of what I wanted in a church home, and God completely blew that out of the water, to be honest, and I ended up somewhere completely different. God completely shut that door and made it plain that that's not where He wanted me to go. Not saying that there was anything wrong with this church, but it's not where God wanted me to be, especially in the season of life that I'm in. So we ultimately just have to be led by the Lord, whether it's a big church, small church, whatever. Just make sure that it's a Bible believing, preaching, and living church. So yeah. In reference to speaking in tongues, I actually did a video on that last year or the year before that. Ultimately, I do not believe that speaking in tongues is evidence of salvation or the evidence of the Holy Spirit indwelling inside of us. But I do believe that speaking in tongues is definitely beneficial in our walk with the Lord and in our personal prayer time. Next, what are your no, that's not what it says. What is your favorite book of the Bible, your favorite verse in the Bible, and your favorite Bible character or person in the Bible? So I don't necessarily have a favorite book of the Bible per se. There's not like one book that I just kind of keep going back to. I'd be all over the place. So I don't necessarily have a favorite book of the Bible. My favorite Bible verse is Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and do not lean to your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him and He will direct your path, or He will make your path straight, whatever version you're reading. For me, I just need that constant reminder to apply that to my life and to not lean to my understanding and to trust in my intellect, because I'm not sovereign. I'm not omniscient. I'm not omnipresent. I don't know what's best for me, even though I think that I do, but I have to trust in the sovereignty of God. And as far as my favorite person in the Bible, if you don't already know, Joseph is my favorite person. I've always kind of had like this connection to his story for some reason. So, and if you've ever noticed, I refer to him quite a bit in a lot of my teachings. So I would say that that is my favorite person in the Bible. But the next question is, what are some of your favorite gospel songs and books besides the Bible? I'm looking for some recommendations. So I actually just did a video last week on my top books on relationships, faith, and leadership. So go ahead and check that out if you haven't. I'm gonna put that up in the cards for you to check it out as well. But in reference to music, girl, I'll be all over the place. I can go from listening to Ty Tribbett to Elevation Worship, Bethel Music, Tamala Man. I'd be all over the place. And I will say that Anthony Brown's, his last 2 CDs have been phenomenal. Travis Green's last 2 CDs are great. But I guess in reference to right now, I've really been jamming to Todd Delaney's Great Name. That is, whew, let me tell you, that just does it for me right now. I'm also really enjoying Do It Again. It's actually an Elevation Worship song, but I really like the one that Travis Green did with them. And I've really been loving, of course, just like everybody else, Tori Kelly's Psalm 42. Ooh, and 116's Christmas album, The Gift. Let me tell y'all, been on repeat for the last week. Amazing. Amazing, okay? So get that. But yeah, I'm honestly really late to like all the new music. I'll find out about it like a month later. So nonetheless, so this is a short Q&A. Only had a few questions this time, but I still hope that you guys enjoyed it and that it still edified you and encouraged you. Again, this is the last video for 2018. Every year I take a break at the end of the year, and this year is no different. Thank you guys so much for your support this year. I really pray, again, I've been saying this so many times throughout this video, but I really do pray that you guys have been pushed closer to the Lord and that you have gone deeper in your walk with the Lord this year. I'll be back in February of next year, so make sure that you guys stay on the lookout. And if you haven't already, make sure that you are following SWP on Instagram to make sure that you stay updated with what's going on. I'm gonna continue sharing encouraging posts on there as well. Probably share a couple video clips of just a little snippets of encouragement as well. And feel free to follow me on my personal social media account if you want to stay updated with me. I share encouraging things on there as well that are separate from the ministry page, so feel free to follow me there as well. But in the meantime, make sure that you catch up on the Ephesians Bible study and some of the other content that I've posted that you may have missed or you just want to kind of refresh yourself on. So I hope to see some of you guys over on Instagram. I really, really love you guys. I pray that you guys have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Until next year, grace and peace.